Okay, why don't we go ahead and set the scene? I say we set the scene. Um, let's see. How much recording time do we have? Okay, we're doing pretty good. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and set the scene and see if we can maybe make something happen? So, um, Albrun is here in this settlement called Grimbrook. We are in the Havens. We're in the west part of the Havens, kind of close to the Deep Wilds, but not too close. Um, and so this settlement, it is a walled settlement. And the Havens, um, so this is a like kind of like grassland, rolling hills kind of thing. Lots of weeds. The grass is kind of low and weedy, so I would say the grass kind of comes up to your shins. There's weeds. Um, I would say kind of a river snakes through the east to like the east of Grimbrook. There's like a good river. It's a strong river. It has rocky bluffs on it. Um, and there are like wildflowers growing in patches, white wildflowers. There's not a lot of color, as you can imagine in Ireland, so it's just like white flowers. And they're like small, like probably I would say clover sized wildflowers. And then you have dense, tall glades of pines that you can kind of see in the distance. So like there's these glades. It's not like the deep wilds where like it's an entire forest, but there's like like pockets and glades of trees, pine trees. And so that's actually what the walls of the settlement is made out of. They're made out of tree trunks from pine trees. Um, and in this settlement, a lot of these houses they're made out of the pine wood as well. Also some clay, thatched roofs with the grass and such. And these these wooden homes kind of uh, line the walls inside of the settlement, like kind of closer to the walls than the center. Um, and then I would say each of these homes kind of have like a fenced in area kind of in the back of them where, you know, Irelanders are attempting to grow food. None of them are really successful. Maybe a few of them have like some potato leaves coming out of the ground or whatever, but it's really not doing too well. Um, and then in the center of Grimbrook is a longhouse, also made out of that pine wood. Um, and it has kind of like a scorched finish. So it's definitely like the nicest building in this place. You can tell a lot of effort went into building it. And this longhouse naturally is where a lot of Grimbrook's most valuable resources are kept because that's kind of where you got the guards and stuff. So, anyways, this is where Albrun is. I would say, um, hmm, I would say we're here. It's the sun is rising, so it's morning, early morning. Um, there's a few dark clouds hanging above, and uh, uh and Albrun came to Grimbrook because he heard rumors of a sickness happening here. People are falling like deathly ill, completely bedridden. They're sweating, maybe even mumbling. Their eyes are going all crazy, like behind their eyelids. And he heard about rumors of this sickness from travelers, and that's why he came to Grimbrook. Because actually, in the distance, not too far, but in the distance, there is an iron pillar. Grimbrook is built next to an iron pillar for those warding properties. And he has actually seen this sickness before. He remembers, right before the cataclysmic event happened when he was a child, he remembers a few people in his settlement of Rockhaven. I'll just go ahead and reveal the name. That's where he's from, Rockhaven. Um, got sick like this. Um, and so he wants to know more about what's happening because naturally he probably assumes that this sickness is a precursor to this event. So I guess we need to figure out if that's true. So that's why he's here. So that's the scene. Um, and so we are going to kick off this inciting event. And I will say Albrun is in one of the only buildings that kind of acts as like a lodge, for like travelers or whatever. And so he's like kind of getting ready for the day. He's getting his little cloak, and he does have a short sword. I would say the size of his forearm, kind of at his hip. He has his bag. He's like dressed in a tunic, and he does have a few like leather armaments, I guess. Not really armor, but like he has like some leather bracers, maybe even like a leather thing over his tunic, just kind of a little bit for protection, because you don't walk around in the Ironlands without something. So that's kind of the way he looks. And I would say the tunic is probably, I don't know, maybe a gray color, black. I don't know. Maybe the cloak is like black, or I don't know. Okay, anyways, he's getting ready, getting his stuff together, and the door to this lodge slams open, and three armed guards, they got their spears. And I should also mention, these guards, they're not like clad in iron armor, because in this version of the Ironlands, iron is actually kind of rare. Not a lot of people have it. Um, and so this settlement is really not doing too well for itself in terms of like riches and stuff. So it's like these guardsmen are kind of just like regular people with spears, basically. But the door slams open, and they come in. And they got their spears and stuff. And the lady that runs the lodge, she's kind of just like minding her business by the counter. She's not saying anything, but she's looking, why are you slamming my door, kind of thing. But she's looking at them. Um, and these three guards, they immediately lock eyes with Albrun. They have their spears brandished, and they're like, you need to come with us. And he's like, um, what's going on? Because he just got here like last night. He's like, did something happen? Like, what's going on? And they're not really interested in explaining themselves or explaining the situation to him. And basically, they kind of get him by the arms and stuff, and they're taking him towards the center of Grimbrook. Um, and kind of a little bit of a crowd. Yeah, I would say like a crowd of people has gathered here in Grimbrook, and we even have the overseer kind of in front of the longhouse addressing the crowd. And we know that this person is the overseer because they wear the iron circlet, which is just basically a circlet of iron, kind of denotes who's in charge of settlements here in the Ironlands. So I think we are actually gonna go ahead and finally roll some dice, and we're gonna go ahead and try to generate an NPC. So we already know the job of this NPC. It's gonna be an overseer, so we don't need a roll for that. But I would like to roll for a name, and maybe even a descriptor. So I want to do a name first. We're going to roll on Oracle 13, which is Ironlander Oracle. Okay. So let's see who this is. 24. Kinara. Okay, Kinara. So this overseer is a woman named Kinara. Let me write that down. Okay, and then I also want to roll a descriptor, just so we kind of have an idea of how she acts, what her disposition is. 82. Armored. Armored. I don't think that means literally. I think that means she's probably a very guarded person in terms of like emotionally. She's probably emotionally guarded. Um, so I imagine that probably means that she is a very like cautious individual. She doesn't like to give too much information for free or for willingly. She's always second guessing people's motivations and stuff, making sure that she's protecting her settlement, making sure she's protecting Grimbrook. Um, okay, that's good. So Albrun is kind of like brought to this crowd of people, and as he gets closer, these Ironlanders, these people of Grimbrook, you know, they were like bickering and arguing and stuff, and like chatting amongst each other. But they start to like look at him as he passes by, like towards the center, towards the front of the crowd, and there's definitely some harsh whispers. People aren't liking this. He arrived last night, so most people didn't know he was here until the morning. That's probably what this commotion is about. Um, and people are like, mean mugging him, like looking at him, like, you know, he does not feel welcomed here. And so finally he gets to the front of this crowd, with these guardsmen that, have their spears kind of ready. They're not like necessarily like pointed at him, but like he can kind of tell like with the guards around him, if he makes a wrong move or something, it really just takes a whack of the spear and he's done. So, he's aware of that. Um, and so one of these common folk of Grimbrook actually kind of step out and address the overseer and says, "Why did you allow this mystic, this mystic into our town at this time of trouble? We don't need his kind meddling, um, meddling with us. He may even be responsible for this sickness." And so the crowd is like, yeah, yeah, they're kind of agreeing with him, and it's getting a little rowdy. And the overseer, you know, what's her name again? Kinara. Kinara kind of, puts her hands out, is trying to, um, calm the crowd down. And, but more, I feel like the crowd is kind of getting more and more riled up, and they're actually already starting to blame Albrun for whatever this freaking sickness is. Albrun's kind of looking around. And you know what? Albrun is not the type to just be passive. He just got dragged out of the lodge. He has no idea what's going on. Just last night he was kind of welcomed in a little. I feel like most settlements of Ironlanders are kind of hospitable. They probably couldn't even see his eyes last night when he got to the settlement, so he got in no problem. So he doesn't know what the heck is going on. So he wants to ask some questions. So Albrun is gonna kind of cut his voice above the crowd, and people are gonna like be quiet and kind of listen because they want to know what he's saying. And he's straight up gonna just ask, and I think he's even gonna, yeah, he's gonna address Kinara, the overseer. He's gonna ask, "What sickness are these people referring to? I promise you, I mean no harm. I just got here last night, and I've done nothing but sleep and wake up." Okay? And I think before Kinara can even explain, that Ironlander that was the one who kind of stepped out and got the crowd riled up, I think he's actually going to be the one to answer this question. And he says, um, "Don't act coy. You, we know you know what this sickness is. People are suffering from some curse. It's yeah, people are suffering from some curse. They can't get up from bed. They're sweating profusely, um, mumbling strange sounds, as if from some language, probably some mystic language that you would know." um, we you need to leave. And so the crowd kind of backs this man. I was like, yeah, he needs to leave, kind of thing. Um, and Kinara has just like completely lost control of the situation. She's the overseer, but it's not really in her control the way this crowd is reacting. Um, and Albrun, you know what? I think Albrun's actually gonna kind of level with these people. And so he goes to speak again, and the crowd quiets down again. They want to hear what he's going to say. And he's like, "You're right. I actually came to Grimbrook because I heard rumors of this sickness. And it is a sickness I have seen before." And that kind of gets the mumblings and the whisperings from the crowd. Like, what? He's seen this before? Did he cause it? Like, what does he know about this? Because a lot of these people's loved ones right now are in their homes suffering. I would say this sickness, I won't say it's ravished Grimbrook, but I would say maybe a good quarter of the population right now is suffering, and they have this sickness. And so that's finally when Kinara speaks up. She addresses the crowd. She says, "Yes, this man is some sort of mystic. We can all see it in his eyes. I decided to allow him to enter Grimbrook last night for safe lodging and food. We need the help." No, scratch that. Okay, so Kinara finally speaks up from, for the crowd, and she says, "We, I allowed, I allowed, I allowed this mystic man into our settlement because we are not the type of people to deny a traveler lodging. These are tough times. And I know you all are scared, but it's clear that this man did not cause the sickness, as we were already suffering from whatever this is before he arrived." Okay, and that kind of the crowd, that's a logical statement. The crowd is kind of like, okay, you're right. They still don't like it though. They don't like this mystic being here because what? A mystic can only cause trouble. And so I think Albrun is actually going to kind of speak up and try to take control of this situation. And he says, "Like I said, I've seen this sickness before. I think I can help. I need to. Will you allow me to help?" And I would say that gets a mixed reaction from the crowd. I would say probably the majority reaction is like, should we trust this man? Like, what does he mean he can help? If he didn't cause it, then what can he do? And you know what? I feel like at this point, this isn't a conversation to have in front of a crowd. So I think Kinara is actually going to kind of motion to the guards to you know, stop being so hostile and like kind of escort Albrun into the longhouse. And the crowd's gonna kind of get a little riled, not like crazy or whatever, but they're definitely gonna start chatting amongst each other. But Kanara's gonna lead the way into the longhouse, with Albrun and the guards in tow. And I think this is a personal one-on-one conversation they need to have with each other. And so Kanara kind of turns and is like, "You say you can help, and you say you've seen this sickness before. Where did you see this sickness?" And Albrun, feels a little bit more comfortable now that he doesn't have like spears like right on his back or whatever. And he's like, "My hometown suffered from this same ailment, and I think it may be for the same reason." And that kind of, Kinara kind of has a puzzled look at that. She's like, "Same reason. What do you think is causing this sickness?" Okay. And Albrun's like, "I believe it has something to do with the iron pillar this settlement is built next to. Before, no, back when I saw this sickness, it set in about a few days before a terrible event happened and the pillar my destroyed my hometown. And I think the same thing may be happening here. And I came here to investigate. Okay? And that kind of Kanara's like, that is definitely some worrying news to hear. But to be honest, I don't know if she believes him. And so I think we're gonna make another roll. I think this might be a good opportunity to possibly roll the Oracle, the Fate Oracle, and kind of see how likely it is. How likely it is for her to just believe Albrun word of mouth. Like, do I believe you or not? So, okay, let's try to figure out the odds of this. There is a sickness. The sickness exists. It's not like the sickness is a rumor. They are experiencing it. A quarter of their people are at home sick right now, completely bedridden and just mumbling things and can't wake up. So, and it's a sickness that they've never seen before. So this sickness is probably mystical in nature. So I think that kind of has her ready to believe this man of Skull descent, this mystic man with the silver eyes. But at the same time, is she prepared to just trust a stranger on his word? Well, you know what? I feel like if this sickness has been happening for like maybe a week or so, or a few days, I guess, they've probably been trying to look for answers and haven't found any answers. And so any information, right? Any information that is, that comes up, they probably are ready to believe. So I would say the odds are likely that she believes him just straight up. And so we're gonna roll, and if we get a 26 or higher, she straight up believes him and it's like, okay, and we'll take his word for it. Oh yeah, that's a 92. Okay, so she believes him. Okay. He's like, you say the sickness from your home set in a few days before this destruction happened. And you think the same thing will happen here? And Albert's like, yes, I do. All the warning signs are the exact same. And I came because I need to know what is causing this and why the pillars are doing this. I need to figure it out. Will you allow me to investigate? And she's like, I don't know. Does this trigger a roll? Like, is this where we swear an iron vow? Okay, you know what? Okay, yeah, we're gonna do that. Okay, so she's like, yes, we would appreciate your help. We've been attempting to figure this out on our own. We've had no luck. And if what you say is true, if this event is bound to happen in a few days, I don't like that. Makes me nervous. This destruction could happen any day now if what you say is true. But the people of Grimbrook aren't very trusting right now. It's understandable. Their loved ones, their spouses, their kids, their fathers, their mothers are suffering. And we have every reason to believe that the source of this affliction is of mystic nature. My people are not trusting of you, and I have to protect my people. I need you to assure me that what you mean to do is to help us, not hurt us, and you will not bring any harm to us. And so I think Albrun is going to take his little necklace, my little prompt. He's going to take his iron necklace. He's going to hold it. He's going to look Kinara in the eyes, and he's going to say, I swear to you, I will do my best to help your people and keep you safe from this sickness to the best of my ability. Okay? And so that is Swear an Iron Vow. That is a move. So let's see, let me find. Okay, so Swear an Iron Vow. When you swear upon iron to complete a quest, write your vow and give the quest a rank. Then roll plus heart. If you make this vow to a person or community with whom you share a bond, add +1. Okay, so what rank is this? The vow is we're going to protect Grimbrook, the people of Grimbrook, from this sickness. We're not trying to cure it. We don't know if there's a cure. We're just going to do our best to try to protect these people through our investigation. So we're going to go ahead and get a vow going. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm going to change the vow a little bit. We're trying to protect the people of Grimbrook not only from the sickness, but also from this foreseen destruction. We don't know if it's going to happen, but historically it's happened. So, okay. So protect the people of Grimbrook from the sickness / destruction. Okay. So that's our vow. So we're supposed to give it a rank. This is our first vow. This is my first time playing Ironsworn, so I think I'm going to start off with a lower rank. You know? So I'm thinking either troublesome or dangerous. You know, I think I might just start off with troublesome, right? Protect them from the sickness and destruction. So it sounds to me like what we're going to need to do is figure out if the sickness spreads. So little okay, I think dangerous. Because we're going to do... No, we're going to do troublesome. We're going to take it easy. And we're going to do troublesome, I think. Okay. Yeah, we're going to start off with just troublesome. I feel like that should make it easier on us to kind of just, familiarize ourselves with the vows and such. This is our first time playing. And I can't imagine that this is too difficult of a quest. I feel like the most we need to do is probably we need to figure out what the sickness is. So it sounds like we're going to do a bunch of gathering information, figure out, does the sickness spread? What is the nature of the sickness? Where is it coming from? Is there a cure? That kind of thing. And then I imagine we just kind of got to figure out how to keep the sickness in check. And, well, maybe it should be dangerous. No, we're going to start off with troublesome. No, we're going to do dangerous. I feel like since a lot of this sickness is like a lot of mystery is in it, I feel like dangerous makes more sense than troublesome. Okay, so we have our rank. Dangerous. We have our vow. So now we actually have to roll. Okay, so we actually have to roll now on Swear an Iron Vow. Okay, plus heart. So we have +2 heart, so let's roll. Okay, that's a 3 + 2, so that's a 5 on our action die versus a 2 and a 4. Okay, strong hit. You are emboldened and it is clear what you must do next. Take +2 momentum. So we are now at +4 momentum, okay? And we are emboldened, we know what to do. So we've already established Albrun has seen this sickness before. It's way back from his childhood, but he does remember some details. And I think he remembers, let's see. I want to start off with a bold and clear what to do next. Are we supposed to ask the Oracle if unsure? Ask the Oracle if unsure. Do we have an idea of where to take this strong hit? Okay, well, you know what? I will say this. Albrun has seen this sickness before, and he does truly believe that this sickness is coming from the Iron Pillar, right? I mean, that's what he believes. And so I imagine either we need to undertake a journey to this Iron Pillar, or we can do some investigation. You know what? No. Okay, Albrun is going to leave the Longhouse, right? He just swore this vow. He kind of has the blessing of Kinara to do investigation. Maybe the townspeople of Grimbrook don't necessarily trust him, but the guards aren't, following him with spears anymore. And so he kind of has the freedom to roam. And so he comes out of the Longhouse, and the crowd has mostly dissipated by now. There are still a few people just kind of, out there kind of looking at him, because they want to go talk to Kinara and, give her a piece of their mind kind of thing. And I think Albrun is actually going to approach. How about that man that was like really against? Well, no, that man's probably not going to help. Why would we? No, never mind. No, we're going to approach someone else. So maybe we walk around the town and we kind of try to see, who's sick and see if we can find someone who's sick. Yeah. Okay, let me get my Oracle tables back out. I think we're going to end up generating another NPC, it sounds like. Let's just get a name. 63. Parcel. Okay, so we come up on a woman who, she's living in this small house. The windows are open, and we kind of look through the open window, and we can actually see a man is in a bed. He's sweating profusely. You can kind of see his eyes moving like crazy behind his eyelids. He's muttering. And he's kind of twitching and stuff. And this woman is tending to him. She has a wet cloth, putting it on his forehead and stuff. And she sees Albrun looking, and she's like, And so Albrun is gonna straight up be like, "Hello, ma'am. I'm here to investigate this sickness, and I'm hoping that I can help. Your husband, this man. Would you allow me to look at him?" And you know what? I don't feel like this is a compel. Well, is it? Is it a compel? Because the people of Grimbrook don't appreciate Albrun. So this might. Well, this isn't dangerous or. Well, if they think it's risky, maybe they think this mystic man is causing it. So maybe it is a compel. Is this a compel? Do I need to roll compel for this? Do we need to roll compel for this? I think we do. I don't think she's just going to let this man into. I don't think she's going to let Albrun into her home just because he asked. He may have the blessing of Kinara, but the townspeople aren't super happy about him. So you know what? We are actually going to change our approach here. Albrun's going to say, "I can help him. I can make him feel better if you let me in." He's lying. So we're going to leverage our trickster asset because we're lying on a compel. So hopefully this goes well. So let's see. Let me go ahead and pull up compel. Okay. So when you attempt to persuade someone to do something, envision your approach and roll. And we're going to lie. So we're rolling plus shadow, our best stat. Yeah, kind of a min-maxer, like I said. So we're going to roll plus shadow. Okay, so that's a 4 on the action die. Plus 3 is a 7 versus 4 and a 6. So that's a strong hit. Oh, and actually plus 4. So that was actually an 8. So that's a strong hit. On a strong hit, they'll do what you want or share what they know. Take plus one momentum, so we're at plus 5. If you use this exchange to gather information, make that move now and add +1. Oh, perfect. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so she lets us in. She may be like kind of side-eyeing us a little bit, but she lets us in. She wants her husband to get better. She wants him to recover. Um, you know, so I think the need for a cure, a need for making this man better, is stronger than anything that, any reservation she has about this Albrun character. So she lets him into her home. So he kind of goes into the room and he approaches this man. And so I'm going to say Albrun knows that one of the symptoms of this sickness. Well, you know what? No. Let's roll gather information and see where the game takes us, where this takes our narrative. So we're going to gather information plus wits. Oh, and +1 because we compelled. Oh. Oh, crap. That's a 1 on the action die. Plus wits, so that's +2. That's a 3. Plus the 1 from that compel move. So that's a 4. Okay, we got a 4 versus, oh crap, a 9 and a 3. Okay, weak hit. At least it wasn't a miss. Okay, on a weak hit, the information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. Envision what you discover and take +1 momentum. So Albrun is kind of, so we're at +6 momentum. Albrun is kind of looking at this man, and he's kind of verifying, you know what, yes, this is the sickness that I remember. All these symptoms are exactly what I remember from my childhood, seeing the other townspeople. So that is kind of the information he gets from that. Nothing new, but just kind of a confirmation of what he already kind of was assuming. And I think I want to ask the Oracle about this new complication. So when you seek to resolve questions, discover details in the world, determine how blah blah blah, you may draw a conclusion, ask yes or no, pick 2, or spark an idea. What is the complication? I think I'm going to roll action and theme, I feel like. Or settlement trouble. Well, okay, it says that this information, so the information that we get complicates our quest or introduces a new danger. So we got confirmation, this is the sickness. You know what? I know what it is. We don't need to roll. I know what the complication is. So we confirmed that this is the exact same sickness that Albrun remembers from his childhood. So he turns to this woman. I don't know why we rolled for her name. We haven't used her name. We haven't even asked her for her name. So rolling for the name was kind of useless. But we turn to this woman and we ask, how long has he been like this? And she says, you know what? I'm just gonna roll my action die. 4 days. 4. We got 4. He's been like this for 4 days. He came down with this terrible sickness, this ailment, 4 days ago. Okay, and Albrun, eyes widen, because like I said, so since we got that weak hit on gather information, this information is supposed to complicate our quest. So I think that the complication is that when Albrun saw this sickness, I'm going to say after 5 days of the sickness is when that cataclysmic event happened. So we're going to put a clock on this. We're putting a clock on this quest. So Albrun is kind of worried now because he's like, okay, I have a day until possibly something really bad happens. So that's the complication. I'm actually going to make a note of that. Okay, so that's our complication. We realistically only have so the complication is that we realistically only have 1 day. We have 1 day to try to complete our vow. Okay, so we're on a time clock. Okay, what's our next move? And you know what? I feel like that gather information, is that a milestone? Is that reach a milestone? I think it is. I feel like this is reach a milestone because, um, okay. I feel like this is reach a milestone because we've identified the sickness. We know it's the exact same one that Albrun is familiar with. So there's that. And then we also now kind of have a timetable. So we know that we need to get something going. And I feel like that information, I feel like it's pretty significant. So we're going to go ahead and reach a milestone. Reach a milestone. So when you make significant progress in your quests, you may mark progress. Okay, so this was a dangerous quest. So we're going to mark 2 boxes out of 10. Okay. So I feel like that's pretty significant. Okay, so we have 1 day. And you know what? Not only is that 1 day to stop the sickness, about 1 day to stop the sickness, but I think Albrun wants to investigate this pillar. Right? Like, well, okay. You know what? Hold on. We got to think about this. We got to be smart. We have 1 day before a possibly bad situation is going to happen. You know what? No, we're not going to go to the pillar yet because we know that this event that happened with us, with our hometown, with Rockhaven, decimated everything around the pillar. So I think we need to evacuate. I think Albrun is going to want to evacuate this Grimbrook. Get people out in a way, at least for a day, to see what's going to happen. And I feel like that should keep people safe from the cataclysm. And that sounds like a good milestone to me. That sounds like a good milestone to me. So we're going to go back to Kinara. We haven't been away that long, but now that we were able to confirm that the sickness is the exact same, we have new information to tell her. So we make our way back to the longhouse. The guards let us in. Kanara is still there, kind of at this long table in there, maybe talking to a few townspeople that had something to say. And Albrun is like, can I speak to you? And she's like, yes, She dismisses people so that they can speak. And Albrun tells Kanara, Overseer, this is the exact same sickness that I remember. And I just heard from one of your townspeople that this might have started about 4 days ago. And Kanara's like, yes, that's about right. That's when everyone started getting sick. That's when people started feeling bad 4 days ago. And so Albrun's like, when I was a child in my town experienced the sickness, within 5 days, the pillar that we lived near emitted some sort of magic, some horrible, harrowing energy, and it destroyed the entire town and killed everyone. And so Kanara's face kind of sinks because she's looking at Albert and she realizes he's serious, he's not playing around. And I think her first question is, how did you survive? You survived. How did you do it? Oh crap. Okay. I think we got something good going here. Okay. Albrun says, I was too young to remember, but the one who found me, the one who raised me, she says that my mother casted some sort of protection spell on me. Some sort of ward. And it kept me alive. And, Kanara is about to ask, but before she can even ask, Albrun kind of sees it in her eyes and he says, I do not know this ward. I don't know this magic. I'm not familiar with it. And so Kanara's face sinks again. She's like, crap. He has to fulfill his vow. You know what, Kanara, Is this a gather information roll before I do this? I feel like before I do what I was about to do, I was about to jump headfirst into it. Well, I feel like what I'm about to do might warrant a gather information roll. I want to say that I feel like this is supposed to be a roll. Let me take a look at the moves. Yeah, what kind of move? I feel like what it is I'm about to try to do, I need to gather information first. You know what? Albrun is going to ask Overseer Kanara. Okay, no, okay. So Albrun has already said, I don't know this ward. And so she's kind of sunken, and Albrun's like, okay, I think you need to evacuate Grimbrook. Get everyone out of here before tomorrow. Okay. And Kanara's like, you're right, I don't think we have a choice. If what you say is true, if what your experience is the same thing that's happening here, I cannot risk my people's safety. We need to leave. But I don't know if this is going to be enough. I don't know if I can get everyone to leave. You know what? Let me roll on the okay, I don't think I can get everyone to leave. And I was like, why? Okay, and that why, I think I want to roll on Settlement Trouble. Oracle 9. Okay. 37. Oh, in league with the enemy. In league with the enemy. Okay, what I'm gonna interpret that with is okay. I don't know if I can get everyone to leave. And I was like, why not? And she's like, not everyone here in Grimbrook agrees with my overseership. There have been some, okay, yes, okay, I got it. There have been some who wish to challenge me for the circlet. They won't do so directly, but they have turned quite a few of the townspeople against me. My word alone will not be enough to evacuate everyone. Okay, everyone's like, okay. He's like, okay, what do you think we can do to get everyone out of here? Let me try to envision this. And I'm thinking that the person who's actually kind of challenging Kanara is that one dude that was so against Albrun. That dude that kept speaking out when the whole crowd was like outside of the longhouse. We should probably give that man a name. You know what? I will go ahead and give that man a name. He sounds like he's going to be a significant character in whatever it is we got going on here. So let's get him a name. (22) Eli. Okay. Eli the Dissenter. Or Eli. I think it's pronounced Eli. Okay, Eli the Dissenter. Okay. Or is it Eli? It's like E-double-L-I. I feel like that's Eli. Yeah, we're going to go with Eli. Okay. So Eli the Dissenter. Okay. So Kinara, Overseer Kinara is like, my word alone is not enough to get everyone out of here. That man, you may be familiar with him, Eli, had a lot to say about you this morning. He has many followers here, and I can't imagine he will agree with me on leaving the town. And my service is to my people. I cannot allow him to keep that many people here when we know something terrible is on the way. Okay. Okay, so that's a new problem. So, okay. So, Albrun's vow was to protect the people, all of the people of Grimbrook, from the sickness/destruction. So I think he needs to somehow convince everyone to leave. So I think him and Kanara kind of talk more, and another like town meeting is called, and everyone kind of gathers up outside of the longhouse. And Kanara addresses Grimbrook as a town, and she says, "My people, this sickness, this man Albrun has seen this sickness before, and he says with good reasoning that the pillar that has protected us is the thing that's causing this sickness." And everyone kind of, there's people who, are like, okay. There's some people who are like, what? It can't be. That pillar has always been there. Why now? That kind of thing. So it's like a mixed reaction, I would say. You can see Eli the dissenter is like kind of in front of the crowd, and he's like, his eyes are like narrowed at both Kanara and Albrun. And Kanara then says, this stranger says that perhaps in a day that pillar may do something terribly destructive, and we need to leave before that happens. Okay, and I would say this is even more of a mixed reaction. There's people who are obviously scared and they're ready to pack their bags and go. There's people like, how are we going to move the sick? How are we going to get all the sick people out in enough time? How far do we even need to move? And there's people like, I don't want to leave my home. This is our walled settlement. We know what lurks outside the walls. There's rumors of horrors at night. There's beasts and such. We are in the havens. So it's not very safe outside the wall. That's why the settlement has walls. Where are we going to go? So this is not a very unified reaction. Some people are ready to leave immediately. Some people are like, I'm not going to leave. Some people just have a lot of logistic questions. Okay. And so I don't think Kinara, with her influence as overseer, is going to be able to convince everyone to go. She says, okay, but she's going to say, go ahead and gather what you need. Gather what food and items you can carry. We are going to vacate Grimbrook for the day and see what happens. If nothing happens, we can come back. But we can't take the risk and stay and see if what this stranger says is true. We need to take every precaution and go. Okay? So I would say naturally, I would say about maybe half of the town. No, not even half. I would say maybe a third of the town. No, a third. Yeah, I would say a third of the town is ready to go. And then the next 2/3 are, 1/3 is probably with Eli the dissenter, and the other third is kind of on the fence. Like, I have loved ones that are sick right now. I don't know if I can carry them out of the town. Like, we need a plan of some sort. Okay, so where does Albrun come into all this? How are we going to convince these people to go? Because that's part of our vow. We need to get these people out of here. I don't know. I think I'm going to take some time to think about it. I think this is an excellent point to end this first session. And we can try to figure this out next session. But we got to figure out how we're going to get these people out of here. Okay. So thank you for watching. If you have any tips for me, this was my first time playing, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Feel free to like or subscribe or any of those things. And I'll see you next time. Right.